Hi everyone and welcome to our MIST webinar. We are lucky enough today to have Brian from Cubis joining us. He is the current pre-sales director at Cubis. He's currently building out a team of solution architects to help support the business growth plans. Since joining Cubis 5 years ago, he's become a specialist in MIST and has designed and deployed multiple customer networks with the solution. We also have Fanny joining us from HPE. She's within the AI networking team on the campus solutions. She has been working in cloud networking her whole career and has come into HPE from the Juniper MIST side since the acquisition last year. Okay, thank you for joining us, both of you. It's lovely to have you here. What I'll do is I'll just jump straight in with the first question then for you both. Is Fanny, is MIST?
Yeah, I think it's a good starting point so everybody knows what we're talking about when we're mentioning the MIST platform and the solution. So I work in the campus and branch team here at HPE. We call it AI for Networking. And I am specializing in talking about MIST today. So MIST is a hardware platform and an AI native solution that we offer on our campus and branch. So that would be Wi-Fi access points, switching, Cloud NAC and SD-WAN, and that all has an AI native platform that we utilize to pinpoint the user experience in the network, and then we provide actionable insights for you to be able to act upon to increase that user experience on that network. The MIST solution is an award-winning solution as well, so it's the leader of the Gartner quadrant in wired and wireless LAN infrastructures, and that's because of the outcomes that we're providing to the customers. And we work alongside with Cubis, who installs, deploy, implement the MIST solution to many of their customers as well. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. One thing that's important to note is that you don't have to have the whole hardware platform to get the benefits. You can have one part of it and not the other part. You still have the same MIST AI native platform to manage and get those insights and outcomes that we're looking for to deliver to our customers.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction to MIST there. So diving a bit deeper into kind of MIST and the approach that it's got. So traditional monitoring tools alert teams when something breaks. How does MIST's AI-driven approach change the way IT teams operate day to day?
Well, I guess traditionally, and I've been part of this myself in times gone by, we've been used to getting device alerts, primarily, whether the device is up or down. From there, in health terms, you may have some form of CPU monitoring, memory monitoring. It depends on your platform that you've got for your monitoring solution in there. We've looked at threshold alerts, and then dependent on what is happening in the environment, in the network, you may have to go and research or restage, build out that problem yet again. You might have to go and do manual log intervention correlations, and it becomes a very reactive troubleshooting process and time consuming from that perspective. Depending on the vendor, it might also be very heavy on a CLI focus as opposed to any kind of AI intervention, which is where this MIST platform is really going to give us the benefits from. So modern networks, or a MIST-driven network now, is very much focused on the user experience or the client experience, as opposed to just is a device up or down. So with all the telemetry data that is flowing through, and it is millions of packets worth of data that the AI engine and machine learning is working on for this one, is going to give us very detailed AI insights that it has been educated to correlate events across the entire platform, whether it's LAN, WAN, wireless, wired, whichever, from that side. And it will automate a root cause analysis for us so that we're not wasting our time and our resources on tickets. It is giving us a clear pinpoint root cause of what the problem will be, and it allows an engineer very quickly to apply a fix and get what we would term a mean time to resolution faster than it would be through a traditional long-winded process. So yeah, from that side, I don't know if you've got anything else to add there, Fanny, to that.
I think it's a great response. I would say Just to add to that, some flavor as well, what we've seen in terms of outcomes with real customers out there. There's a big challenge, right? We need to do more for less. And a traditional network, you would look at the network being up, but up in reality nowadays is not always good. So if you look at like 2 clients or 2 devices, so this is a user experience. I can have a pixelated Teams call on this one, but I have a perfect call on that one. That means that I'm having a poor experience on one of my devices. We want to be able to provide you actionable insights to be able to address those poor user experiences as they're happening. And we don't want me to actually contact you about that. We want to be able to see that and predict that as well in the future. So that's just one of the things we do. But it's basically up is not the same as good. And with one of our customers, they've reported a 70% reduction in their operational expenditure of the running of the network because of the actionable insights that they have leveraged through the Mist platform. So just adding to Brian's response there, but yeah.
That's brilliant. That's a fantastic stat that your customer got. And it leads quite nicely onto my next question, actually. So which feature tends to surprise customers the most once they start using it?
So I think it even starts like in our proof of value, proof of concept stage, because we like to run the data of your network into our proof of concept to then give you the outcomes that you can see then in your whole network in the future. So I think the biggest surprises is actually through our proof of value time that we have together that you might not even have imagined that this was possible. But I would say one of my favorite features would be about the conversational assistant on our virtual network assistant called Marvis. Marvis comes in many different shapes and sizes, but it essentially is an extra set of hands that your team can use. If we look at the Gap, for example, which is a global retailer with 4,000 locations, they utilize Marvis to pinpoint user experience and also troubleshoot quicker. So before they had the additional help from Marvis, they had to travel to site. Now they know this is a POS system problem. It's not the network. We're going to contact the POS people. This is a networking problem. What do we need to fix this user experience on this shop that is in a different country? Well, Marvis will tell them that this is what you need to do, and this is the problem with this user experience. So I would say Marvis is a very good example. It's one of the easiest ones because everybody knows Marvis if you've tried out Mist, but that's one of those features, I think.
Yeah, I'd echo that, Fanny. It's probably the one that stands out more than anything else. If they haven't seen it before, the detail that Marvis will give you to help you be that extra pair of hands when we're all rushed off our feet all of the time to get to a fix faster. And when it comes to, I guess, some of the others, there's quite a few of them, but SLEs are really important from there, breaking down what information and what telemetry data is coming through the network that will help Marvis make those decisions and suggestions for us as to what is the problem or the root of the problem. So those SLEs will correlate all that information across all of the options that are there. So the other one, when it comes to actually working with it, I don't know how you feel, Fanny, but the NAC piece and access assurance makes people go wow, in my opinion, when it is. Yeah. And we've got a high degree of usage of the numbers of customers that are using Mist that have fully integrated that NAC platform in the dashboard as well. And the ease of which you can deploy your policies and secure your devices across the LAN and your LAN and your Wi-Fi, or your wired and wireless in this case, and actually see which policy has been matched, and if it is not matched, how and why it hasn't been matched, to pinpoint you to go and look at what your resolution is. It has just made things much faster to get a secure environment working, because other products that are out there in the marketplace have got hardware platform to manage. It's time consuming as far as knowledge resource to gather in this one, but the simplicity of that NAC piece and access assurance is what really stands out when customers get to see a quick utilization of it, a run through of a demo, and I can do that. And yeah, they've made some pointers and tips and hints, but they really can get to grips with it very quickly.
Brilliant. That's
I do have
Sorry.
one more thing, and if we do have time and if it allows for that, but I think also day zero deployment is extremely important. We need to help you de-risk your deployment. We have a lot of customers with many sites. It can be many sites in the UK, it can be globally. And what we do is that we template that approach, and we also use automation and zero-touch provisioning. So that reduces human error, but also we can then standardize across all your sites. So that is something that customers absolutely love. One of my customers called me and said, gosh, we just set up the Paris office in less than 24 hours and we were not even there. We just had installers. So that's something that is often an aha moment, because a lot of our customers have had to actually go to the site, be there, handhold, but we don't have to do that anymore. So that's also super exciting and valuable, I think.
Yeah, those all do sound like big wow aha moments for me. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to go back to something you mentioned a minute ago, and that's about IT teams troubleshooting user issues. How exactly does Mist help move companies from reactive firefighting to proactive problem solving?
From my perspective, being an engineer, but also being somebody who designs things, the amount of data that it has being consumed, and the AI engine being educated on to make decisions about what are the actions that we can take to fix things, really helps the engineer. So all of what we have as far as a wired or wireless SLEs that are involved, and the breakdown of that data into different classifiers. So take, for example, the ability or the successful connect SLE. So to successfully connect to the network, there are multiple things that are going to happen. And it sounds really simple. I connect to a network or I don't connect to a network, but there's a lot of things going on in the background that will stop you successfully connecting to a network. And there's lots of features, functions, processes that go on within the network to make sure that we can get on that network. One of those things is, when we're doing wireless, we have an association to what we call an SSID, a wireless network. We have our authorization process that happens, and if that authorization includes a higher level of security, then that might not be at that point in that box. It might be in a different piece of the network in there to do that authorization. We then have to get an address from the network. We then have to test, is that gateway on that network available to talk to go and talk to other networks? And then lastly, do we get access to the internet? And what sounds like a really simple thing of, can I connect to the network? All of those pieces are pulled together and all of that data is tracked. And there are servers involved in that process. Are those servers online? Are they being responsive? Are they causing any kind of latencies? All of that information is tracked, lots of, depending on the scale of the network as well. So if you're into 4,000 or 5,000 devices on a network, this could be millions of packets that are going on. That is just too much for a network engineer to consume and work on it at a given time. So having this extra pair of hands of Marvis in the background and this AI engine working on this telemetry data to correlate it not just with a successful connect, but also, was the coverage poor at this particular time? Was the throughput good enough at that particular time to cope with, a high quality video resolution call that was going on at that particular time? And all of those metric measures are being correlated at the same time throughout the duration of any call. And that, from my perspective as an engineer, just helps me not having to recreate that problem all over again. Another thing that is really cool about the platform is it will proactively capture packets if it sees that it is an event that is necessary to do so. So we don't have to recreate problems as we've done with traditional networks in the past. We don't have to send people to site. The APs themselves have got a dynamic buffer that will allow them to capture these instances for us to replay in our own time, because sometimes you need to drill down that far. Most of the time that I've seen it, you can just go into Marvis and ask that question, and Marvis will correlate the data that you're looking for as an answer and verify what a long in the tooth engineer might have thought was going to be the answer in the first place. And that just means that you're married up from both places. And more than likely, it's got it right.
Yeah. I would like to add to that. Yeah, so it's about the getting it right piece. Because we don't want to sit here and guess about things. So to be able to move from a traditional networking perspective where you look at the network, is it up and running, to looking at the user experience, we also have to have our customers believe that we're correct. So therefore, we have to have very high efficacy in what we're doing. So what we're doing in MIST was we've trained the data for 10 years to be able to have this high efficacy. And any support tickets that would come into us, we also run our own AI on top of that, so that we have constant feedback on our algorithm, the tools we're utilizing to provide those outcomes for the customers. So that's also why we have a very open community on our MIST platform. Customers can put in suggestions, what they would think would be a good suggestion, and we can vote for those ones. And it's directly connected to our product line management team as well. So high efficacy is the most important thing, because if you cannot trust the data, then you won't act on it. So that's why also we believe that Gartner has named us the leader in the Gartner quadrant, because of the outcomes and the high efficacy that we're bringing to those customers. So being right is very important in this case.
And lastly, just let me jump in on that same one. There is a feature within MIST and the dashboard themselves that I think is really undersung, and that is Marvis Minis. And so for a network that operates maybe 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, when you've got people on the network and something goes wrong, you've got actionable problems that you can look at. You've got staff who are around. If, however, something goes wrong on Sunday morning at 3 a.m., which could have a catastrophic effect for people coming in 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, and then your network is not functioning, what Marvis Minis is going to allow us to do is to create, or it constantly does anyway, is create synthetic tests, and it becomes what we call a digital twin. So it creates those tests. To test, you can get an IP address. To test, you can authenticate. To test, you can get a DNS query going out to the internet and get an internet connectivity from there, so that they are constantly being tested from an AP perspective, from a switch perspective as well, depending on the services you're running. But you have got packets that are being created and flow through the network that add to the telemetry data, really importantly, so that come 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, as a simplistic view, there isn't a problem, because the alert has been raised in advance, allocated to a network team or a support engineer to do the fix, so that the proactive impact has been taken care of, the support team have dealt with the issue, and the network functions before anybody needs to use it again on a Monday morning. And if it is a 24/7 operation as well, the same thing happens. It just means that we have those packets, those flows, that telemetry data being built up to action upon, that Marvis knows what is happening in there to provide us with a mean time to resolution faster.
Well, that's all brilliant stuff. And Fanny, I have one last question directly for you. Obviously, Brian, jump in as well. And obviously, we know that many IT teams are dealing with growing operational complexity. How does MIST help to simplify operations across wireless, wired, and WAN environments?
So I think if we start looking at the challenge that we have in networking today, so one challenge is that networking engineers are set to retire. So I think 50% are set to retire in the next 5 years. So networking skill sets are changing. That's one thing. Operational expenditure of running a network is also being increased because of the complexity that's coming into those networks and the demands of your organization that you're serving, because you still have to be the same lean IT team, but still adhere to the digital transformation objectives of your organization. We also need to be able to audit that network over time. It's not only on day dot that you install your network and everything should work. It actually has to be audited over time, depending on the user experience. And that's what we want to do and simplify for you as a customer. So simplification is about having MIST as the AI native platform as the single source of truth. You can choose to start with Wi-Fi, but you can have switching only, you can have Wi-Fi only, or you can have SD-WAN only, you can add cloud NAC later on. But the solution is there for you and it will grow with you regardless of your size and scale and where you are currently in your cycle of refreshing and that type of thing. So once done that, we also want to then do more for less. So we want to provide you those actionable insights, and we're also adding another thing, which is self-driving into the solution. Self-driving means that we're adding an extra set of hands where you don't have to touch anything. So not only are we doing actionable insights that you can act upon, but also adding self-driving features where you have these niggly things that a human just cannot find themselves, or it will take them a real long time to find it. So normally those things are things you just live with. That is just going to degrade your user experience over time, but you can't find out what it is, therefore you don't touch it. But now when we can add self-driving into the solution as well, we can do things like kickstart an IoT device that is stuck on the port of the switch, because we can see that this CCTV device is on a loop. Let's just fix that for you. We know we have this high efficacy, we can just solve it for you. So reducing the operational complexity and reducing the cost of that is the whole AI native platform and the outcomes that we can provide. And I think what we want to do as well is, yes, we can talk about AI, but this is not a marketing spiel. That's why we would like to do a proof of value with you as well. So we do that alongside with Cubis, and then we find your aha moments. What do you care about, and what are the outcomes that your organization cares about? And that's what we find out in the proof of value, proof of concept stage, because we run your production data through that network, and then you get that in reality, and then you see how it will work when you are deploying the network at a wider scale.
Perfect, thank you so much. And do you have anything to add to that at all?
The only thing I would say is just how important a proof of concept is, from the whole perspective of being able to understand, see the benefits of Mist and its platform, and being able to use it, drive it yourself, and see the results that come out of it. And then those aha moments really come to play when people actually see it in play, use it, and however many features they tend to use on there. But then you can go into the AI features of each of those ones. You can drill down into what information is there, and just something as simple as one of our customers in the past who had a non-Mist platform across a set of VPNs, and then they went into a monitored only, not even a managed, a monitored only scenario. Within the first 2 hours of having the Mist platform in a monitored environment, they pinpointed one of the problems that they'd had for months as far as their VPN was concerned, and Mist picked it up, pushed it into a Marvis Insights page, and just told them what their problem was and why there was a little dropout on their VPN. Every so often, needless to say, it got fixed very quickly. Customer was really happy. And if that can be replicated multiple times, then you're going to have lots of happy customers, but also happy engineers, because it's a quick, easy fix, and those engineers can then get on to doing something else.
Brilliant. Thank you both so much for those insights. I think we could be here all day talking about Mist and digging deeper into it all. I'd like to thank you both so much for your time today. It's been lovely chatting and understanding more about what Mist can do for our customers' capabilities. So it will definitely help to make the complex simple. Thank you again.